Welcome all. In this video, we will discuss control structure which we are going to use in C# application. So control structure is nothing but is going to control our program. So control structure can be divided in conditional structure as well as looping structure. So at first, let's start with conditional structure. All of us know that conditional structure is if statement. So there is if else and if else if. So I will give you individually their example and I will try my best to explain these concepts. So at first, let's try with the question which will solve only if statement. Fine. So write a C# program to input a number and check for positive. Fine. This is the simple program which we are going to try. For this program, we have to take one integer variable and there we need to specify the print statement and input statement for inputting the number. So at first, let's give the statement as enter a number. Fine. So now n the value n is going to collect the value from readline method, and by default the readline is going to accept non-integer value, means string value. So we have to convert it as already we discussed in our previous video. So here I am just using readline method to read the value, as well as the value is going to get converted to integer and is getting stored in the variable n. So let's check if statement n greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, it is positive. So simply we can copy the right line and can specify here n is positive. So I can specify here plus sign is positive number. Let's check by pressing Ctrl F9. So at first it is going to ask us the number. I am providing 23. So it is giving positive number. Suppose in this case I am giving a non-positive number, that is suppose -2 or 21. So in this case no result will be appear, as we have used only for positive. It means only if the condition is true, then only the statement is getting printed. Otherwise there is nothing to be done, means nothing is mentioned in our program. Okay, let's go for the second conditional structure, that is if else. So in this case the question we are keeping, write a C# program to input any two numbers to check for largest. So in this case I am going to take two variables. So n and m I have taken, and one more variable I am taking where I can keep the result. So I took string. Fine. So now here already we have written that console enter first number. Same way I can write for the second number. I can copy the entire statement for second number and I can specify here in place of first, I can specify here second number. So second number is going to stored in the variable m. Okay, so n is the first number and m is the second number. Now let me compare n with m. So if n is greater than m, so in place of printing, I am just storing the result in res, so that once I can use the print statement. So n plus is largest. Fine. I am just providing the statement like this. N plus is largest. Same way, if I am otherwise case, I have to just copy this statement and can specify here m is largest. Okay. So this is how the thing is done. Now at last what I can do, I can print the statements. So right line I can use and here I can specify res. So let me go for the explanation. Two variable I have taken for two value and one string variable I have taken. Here string is the data type in C#. So this is input statement for the first number and input statement for the second number. Thereafter, I am comparing the first number with second number. If it is largest, if it is winning, then first number is largest. The statement is getting stored in the variable res. Otherwise, the second number is largest. The statement is getting stored in res. Thereafter, we are simply printing the value of res. So let's check whether we are getting the result properly or not. So I provide here 4 as the first number and second number 6. So it is giving the result as 6 is largest. Let alternate the number and provide I am giving 5 and second number I am giving as 2. So in both the case the result is showing properly. So this is all about if else. If the condition is getting satisfied, it is continuing with the first statement, otherwise it is continuing with the second statement. Now it's time to check if else if. So in this case I am taking the example as write a C# program to input any 3 number. So in this case I am taking input a number or input any number and to check for positive, negative or 0. Fine. So 3 statements are there or 3 conditions are there. We have to do either or case and we have to try for them. So here I am taking one single variable and one result. So enter a number I can specify here. In place of enter first number we can specify enter a number. Fine. Then this statement we can remove. So if the number is greater than 0, we can provide here result n is positive. So positive the statement I can provide here. Otherwise, as there are 2 statements left or 2 conditions left, one is negative and one is 0. So we have to provide here else if n is less than 0, then the result n is negative. So I can specify here negative. Otherwise it is 0. So I can specify here else the result is 0. Okay, so here I need not to specify n is because that is 0. So the number is 0. I can specify the number is 0. So this is what thereafter result we are printing. So what I did, let me explain. I input the number at first, then checking for positive, printing here. Otherwise I am checking again for negative, as there are 2 conditions left, negative and 0. So I am checking for negative. If it is negative, printing. Otherwise I am printing here 0. So let's try showing the program now, practically executing, providing the number and pressing enter. Positive it is printing. Then I am trying for the next. Suppose I am providing one negative number and pressing enter, it is giving negative. Minus 34 is negative. The same way let's try with providing 0. So 0, so it is giving the number is 0. So according to our input, it is going for the condition to check and the result is getting stored in the variable res. At last we are printing the value of res. So this is all about if else if. So in this case I am providing one more example about if else if, as it is more important and most of the places we can use it. So I am writing the next question for it. Write a C# program to input any 3 numbers and find out the largest one. So in this question we have to take 3 variables, as we are going to find out the largest among 3 numbers. So taking here 3 variables a, b, c and result to store the result. Then here we can provide in one statement only enter any 3 numbers. So a we can use for the first one to get stored, b we can use for the second one to get stored, and c the variable we can use to store the third one. So at first we have to compare A with B. In between the comparison of A and B, if the A is winning, then A supposed to get compared with C. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, it means it like this. So thereafter we can keep the result here that A is largest. We can print here A is largest. Fine. So otherwise, now otherwise in the sense, whose otherwise? Let's remove all this. So otherwise is inner ifs otherwise. At first we need to find out. So in inner if, the A and C, the comparison is going on. So here we can provide C is largest. Thereafter I need to specify the else of the first if. In first if, the comparison is going on in between A and B. So if A is not winning, else means if A is not winning, then B is winning. Then B needed to be compared with C. So this entire statement we can copy and we can specify here. If B is greater than C, then we can provide the result as B is largest, otherwise C is largest. So at last the value, the result to be printed. So let's check for the output. Let me provide you the number here. Suppose 3, 2 and 6 I am giving. So 6 is largest, is printing fine. Let's try with another combination. Let's try with another combination. Suppose I am giving here 6, 3 and 2. So 6 is largest too. So it means our program is working properly. Fine. This is what the logically we can get the output. What about if we want to use AND operator? So for using AND operator, we have to make here if A greater than B and A greater than C. Both we can compare altogether. So in both the case A is largest. Otherwise, in otherwise case what will happen? Otherwise means A greater than B is otherwise. So otherwise will be of this part. So if A greater than B is not winning A, so B is winning. So in that case this else will be executed. So here we have to make else if B greater than C. B greater than C. So B greater than C, simply we can print here B is largest, otherwise else C is largest. So this is how the concept is. So in this case we have used the AND logical operator. So let's get the explanation. At first A greater than B we are checking, thereafter AND A greater than C we are checking. If both the case A is winning, then A will be declared as largest. Otherwise, so otherwise is the first statements otherwise or first conditions otherwise. So in this case B is winning, so B needed to get compared with C, and if it is winning, the B will be printed, otherwise C will be printed. So result at first. So let's check for the output. So let's provide the number 3, 4 and 2. 4 is largest. Let's give it in some other way, some other sequence. It means 4, 3 and 6. 6 is largest. So I tried giving here and there the number and it is working. So I have shown you both the way of doing this kind of program. So here we end conditional structure. In our next video, we will learn switch statement as well as looping structure.